Good morning, students. Our today's topic is the machinery and the enzymes. In living cells such as E. coli, the process of replication requires a set of enzymes. The main enzyme is referred to as DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Learn this name, DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme. These enzymes are highly efficient enzymes as they have to catalyze polymerization of a large number of nucleotides in a very short time. These enzymes are very efficient because they combine many nucleotides together to form polynucleotide. E. coli has only 4.6 into 10 raised power 6 base pairs. Completes the process of replication within 38 minutes. This means that the average rate of polymerization is approximately 2000 base pair per second. Such a high rate of polymerization. Not only do they polymerize have to be fast, but they have to catalyze the reaction with high degree of accuracy. Any mistake during replication would result into mutation. Deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate, which is act as a raw material, serves dual function. First, it acts as a substrate. Second, it provides energy for polymerization reaction. So here question can be asked, what are the functions of deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate? Answer, 2 points. First, it acts as a substrate. Second, it provides energy for polymerization reaction. In addition to DNA-dependent DNA polymerase, many additional enzymes are required to complete the process of replication with high degree of accuracy. During replication, the two DNA strands get uncoiled by helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme help in the uncoiling of the DNA strand. Both the strands act as template for synthesis of new DNA. 2 units of enzyme DNA polymerase are required, one on each strand. For long DNA molecule, since the 2 strands of DNA cannot be separated in its entire length, the replication occurs with a small opening of the DNA helix referred to as replication fork. From the one side, the DNA uncoiling starts and thus they form the replication fork shown in the figure 6.8, that on one part of the DNA uncoils and forms replication fork. The DNA dependent DNA polymerase catalyzes polymerization only in one direction, that is 5 to 3 direction. The replication is continuous in one strand and that is known as leading strand. In the 5 to 3 direction, it is continuous synthesis occurs and it is known as leading strand, while on the other strand it is discontinuous. That strand is known as lagging strand. The discontinuously synthesized fragments are later joined by the enzyme DNA ligase. Here in the discontinuous synthesis, that is on the lagging strand, the synthesis occurs in a small fragments. These fragments then join with the help of the enzyme, that is DNA ligase. Synthesis on leading strand is continuous, while on lagging strand it occurs in the form of small fragments called Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments are the small fragments which occurs on the lagging strand. There is a definite region in E. coli DNA where the replication originates. Such regions are termed as origin of replication. Origin of replication is the point from where the replication starts. In eukaryotes, the replication of DNA takes place at S phase of the cell cycle. The replication of DNA and cell division cycle should be highly coordinated. A failure in cell division after DNA replication results in polyploidy. If after replication cell division will not occur, then polyploidy can occur in the cell. Next is, what is transcription? The process of copying genetic information from one strand of DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. That is, the formation of RNA from DNA is known as transcription. The principle of complementarity governs the process of transcription. Accept the adenosine now forms base with uracil instead of thymine. So in RNA, in place of thymine, uracil is present. In transcription, only a segment of DNA and only one of the strand is copied into RNA. Only one strand of DNA take part in transcription, and sometimes a small segment of DNA also transcribes. Now question arises, why both the strands are not copied during transcription? Answer, first is, if both strands act as a template, they would code for RNA molecule with different sequences, because both are complementary but both are not identical. So they will form their own complementary bases, and in turn they code for proteins. The sequence of amino acids in the protein would be different, because different amino acids will be there, and amino acids they code for proteins. If different amino acids will be there on the two complementary strands, then different proteins will be formed. Hence, one segment of DNA would be coding for the two different proteins, and in this would complicate the genetic information transfer machinery. Second, the two RNA molecules, if produced simultaneously, would be complementary to each other, hence would form a double-stranded RNA. If both the strands will be there, they will, because they are complementary, they will coil among themselves and double-stranded RNA will be formed. This would prevent RNA from being translated into protein. When double-stranded, it will become stable and it will not form the proteins. I hope this is clear. Next is transcription unit. The transcription unit in DNA has three regions. First is promoter, second structural gene, and third one is terminator. There is a convention in defining the two strands of the DNA in the structural gene of transcription unit. Actually, the structural gene is present between the promoter and the terminator. DNA dependent RNA polymerase, because now in transcription RNA is involved, so here RNA polymerase enzyme is used. DNA dependent RNA polymerase catalyze the polymerization in only one direction, that is 5:3. The strand that has a polarity 3:5 act as template and also referred as the template strand. The other strand which has the polarity 5:3 and the sequence same as RNA except thymine at the place of uracil is displaced during transcription. This strand which does not code for anything is referred to as coding strand. In the figure 6.9, 5:3 is the green line is shown as coding strand and blue line is shown as the template strand. The transcription occurs on the template strand. Here they have given one example. They have given the sequence on the template strand and the coding strand. Now the question, can you now write the sequence of RNA transcribed from the above DNA? It has the same sequence, only in place of T, uracil will be present. So this I am telling U, now the new RNA strand will be UACG, 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 UA. So in this form, no change in only same as that of the coding strand, only in place of T write U, otherwise the same sequence. Again, in the same as that of a coding strand, only change T with the U, otherwise same. The promoter and terminator flank the structural gene in the transcription unit. That is, the structural gene is present between the promoter and the terminator. The promoter is located at 5' end, also known as upstream of the structural gene. The reference is made with respect to the polarity of coding strand. It is the DNA sequence that provides binding site for RNA polymerase. The terminator is located towards the 3' end. 3' end is known as downstream of the coding strand and is usually defines the end of the process of transcription. There are additional regulatory sequences that may be present further upstream or downstream to the promoter. Some more information. Helicase enzyme also moves from 5 to 3 direction and break the hydrogen bonds between the base pairs. This is energy consuming process and energy comes from ATP. RNA primer is also used in this process and it first attaches to the leading strand and then their DNA polymerase combines. After replication, RNA primer is removed by RNase in eukaryotes. This gap is then filled by DNA polymerase. I hope this is clear to you. Thank you.